Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Adafruit Show and Tell. I'm Liz. I'm going to be your host this evening. If you would like to join the stream to share your projects, you can find a link in the live broadcast chat on our Discord channel. I just dropped it in there. And our Discord server is adafruit.it/Discord. First, though, we're going to kick things off with some folks from Adafruit, and then we'll hear from people in the community. And we'll kick things off with Scott. Hey, Scott, how are you?
Hey, pretty good. I am playing again. I've been deep in the USB weeds, as you've heard.
Yes.
So I showed this demo before. It's running. I can walk around. This is one. So what I've got is I've got this gamepad here. It's pairing, and then it comes with a dongle. So last time I had the dongle connected to like a breakout, not the USB-A's on the Fruit Jam itself. But I've gotten it working. So if I start this, I got two of these. So that's my task tomorrow, is to make two-player of this game working.
Okay.
But now I can walk around.
Okay.
And I'm doing the same demo I did, last week with this, but I am like using the native USB-A ports now and the hub that is on the Fruit Jam.
Nice.
So I'm very, very happy that's working.
Very cool. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm surprised I have hair left, but you know.
It will all be worth it in the end.
Yeah, I'm excited. Like, just booting this demo back up, I was like, oh yeah, I'm excited about this. I'm excited about this.
And then once you get through the USB weeds, you can garden your own weeds in the game.
I can, and I want to do it with another person.
There you go.
So I don't know. I might do just another person with different colors, or I might see if there's like, I think there might be a cat in the assets as well. So I thought it'd be funny if the like second person was a cat that walked around and did the same thing.
I like it.
Or something else, maybe. I don't know. Maybe they destroy the plants.
Maybe it could be like
a person plants them.
Untitled Goose Game vibe, where there's like a malicious cat and you have to make sure he's not eating your plants.
Yes. Yeah, my cats eat our plants at home, so I think that would be fitting.
My cats even eat my fake plants. So. Yeah.
Darn.
Yeah. Well, this is awesome to see the progress, and I look forward to seeing how it all goes.
Yeah. I'm super excited that USB is working better than it was before.
Absolutely.
Turns out if you turn on the 5-volt power to the device, it works better. The simple things.
Yep, it happens.
Cool.
All right. Well, thank you, Scott.
Thanks, Liz.
Now we're going to hear from Erin and her amazing LEDs. Hey, Erin.
Hello. So I am building a pretty cool thing here. I've got a couple of giant LED nets. These are 4 meter by 1 meter nets. They're new in the Adafruit shop. And I'm powering them with a Sparkle Motion controller. They're a little hard to get your hands on. I'm very excited to be one of the first people to get my hands on one of these things. The Sparkle Motion will run 12-volt LEDs, which these are. Yes. And the 12 volts means that I can, I don't have to inject data and power and everything so often. It'll run kind of more of the LEDs on one power wire. And it seems to be working pretty well. Right now, the two nets are sitting next to each other, and I'm working on getting them mapped so that I can control the whole thing as one matrix. I'm running them on WLED right now. So there's some cool stuff. WLED, if you haven't used it, has got a lot of neat effects that you can just control with your phone.
Yeah.
So stuff like this, you can just do with no coding and no work at all, no sequencing. It just sort of runs. It's really fun and easy. I'm also getting started with X-Lights. This is the first time I've used X-Lights. X-Lights is really a program that's for people use it for Christmas tree displays or Christmas light displays where people have like, a whole bunch of different light, they'll have like a tree and they'll have a strip in the window and then one along the roof line. And you can sequence all the different pieces together at the same time. So that's kind of where I'm headed with this. I'm actually going to put 2 more nets on my crazy little rig carport thing here and start putting them up at festivals. And my idea with this whole piece is I'm going to turn it into a butterfly tunnel. So I'm going to have the lights along the top and then have some hanging butterflies all inside. And just kind of, we're going to give out milkweed seeds and try and bring back the monarchs. So
I love it. It looks so cool, and looking forward to seeing the guide on this and more beautiful LEDs as always from you.
More lights.
Yes. All right. Thanks so much, Erin.
Thanks.
Wait. All right. Now we're going to hear from Tim. Hello.
Hey, Liz. How's it going? Doing pretty good. So I have a project from a new guide that went live today. So this is a little compass on the round screens, GC9A, something, the newer ones that are in the display.
Cool.
Hug report to you. A lot of this code was based on your compass from the Qualia a little while back. That was a huge help. So thank you very much for that. And you can see it's got the needle there. And I'm only kind of set up to shoot it from one angle, so I can't turn it too far. But you can see if I kind of rotate it there, we get the needle to sweep around from south to west in this case, based on where I'm at. So it turned out super cool. Like I said, the Learn Guide is up for that today. If anyone wants to make your own, go check that out. And then I will do a quick set change, and I'll show you one more thing, which I've been working on today that I think is super cool. I have a PyPortal Titano in this case, and it's just showing the default CircuitPython terminal, but I have set it to green. So one of the things that I was working on today was this bit actually down here in the corner where some of the tiles are actually inverted. This is a new thing that I was working on today, but while I was working on it, I realized that the terminal just uses a regular palette, and you can actually change the color on it if you want. I just typed it in the REPL, but I think you could even put this in like BootPy if you wanted to have like a setting for your board, if you want it to always be green or always be pink or whatever you want. Nice. It's just a little one-liner to change the color in the palette, which I was super surprised that it actually worked when I did it the first time. Super cool.
That's awesome.
Yeah, and that's what I've been up to. So yeah, thanks for hosting, and I'll see you around.
All right, have a good one, Tim. Thank you.
Thanks.
All right, now we're going to hear from some folks in the community, and we will start with Braden. Hello.
Hey, Liz. Hopefully you can hear me.
Yeah, hear you good.
So Microchip launched a new chip. I guess it started to become available in December of last year, and it's the AVR DU family. And what it is, it's their new 8-bit chip that supports USB natively. It's USB 2.0. So you can kind of think of it as sort of the next generation of what used to be the ATmega 32U4, I think. Okay. And what's odd is that chip, which is still being used, Adafruit even has a board for it, has gotten really expensive. It's like $5 just for that chip now. Oh. And the top of the line AVR DU chip has got twice the amount of flash storage on it and is about $1.25 in small quantities. And so let me switch cameras here real quick. So if you look at this blue blob down at the bottom, the red board is actually Microchip's sort of evaluation board for anybody who wants to go and work with the chip.
Okay.
And I found it's a great board, and it's been great having it on my desk, because when I talk to Microchip's support staff, I can reference this board and get something working on it. But what I really wanted was something that was stripped down. So you can run this new AVR chip with no crystal. It'll clock at 24 megahertz, and you can get native USB 2.0 on it. And it takes very little to get it done. So I wanted to strip down a board and create my own dev board, which is what you see here in the green.
Very cool.
It's going to be interesting to find out how Arduino supports the board, because it's got some limitations to it. The biggest thing I found on the chip is limitations are it only has 3 timers. And if you start thinking about Arduino with, tone and clock and a bunch of other things, 3 timers run out really fast.
Yeah.
And you can split one of the timers. And so what my demo right here is doing, I'm going to cover up the really bright LED for a second. So there's an little LED idiot there. It's just on a timer. And that simply tells me that my main clock that gives me milliseconds is working. That's sort of the base thing there. Now, what this green LED is telling me is I've actually got CircuitPython running on a Pico and a couple of Adafruit breakout boards, one for an IR receiver and one for an IR transmitter. Because what's also on this board is the same IR receiver that Adafruit uses, and then there's a little IR LED right there. And so every time the Pico sends a new command to my board over IR, my LED changes.
Oh, very cool. Very cool.
And so I know that it's doing IR receive. And then I'm going to switch over real quick to a section of my screen. And what you see here is two things. You see on the left is actually the USB from this AVR board that I've got spitting out some updates. So that's standard serial over USB CDC that we're all, we all love to use. And then on the right is the CircuitPython board doing something very similar. Oh, okay. And so one is sending and one is receiving. And so now I know that USB is working, my IR transmit is working, my IR receive is working, my clocks are working, and I've run out of timers. But it's going to be interesting to hear what the community can do with this board, because it is a low-cost chip. It's available in lots of different form factors, which makes it, it's even got a dip form factor for people who want to do like through hole in a socket, like the original Arduino AT, right? Yeah. There's a version of this chip in that form factor for people. So I think that's really kind of great. But there's very little support for it. And so what I've been spending the past 2 weeks on is writing all the basic library code to be able to do, tone and PWM and LEDs and that kind of fun stuff on it, as well as USB support. So this is and I wanted to get IR on it because I tend to put IR on absolutely every board I play with now for whatever reason it is. But I'm really hoping the chip gets popular, and it's why I'm going to open source all my code as usual. But it's kind of a cool board. I think it's going to be interesting to see how people use it, because it is going to be a really low cost version of a chip that's got native USB support on it, which is, I think, something we've been lacking for a while.
Very cool. And I know you said you're going to release everything, but also maybe consider writing a playground note with your experiences of prototyping with
because the biggest challenge for me is all of Microchip's tools run on Windows, and I'm on Mac Silicon. Okay. So that was one of the things, and that's why I was really happy to have their board, because I could get their board working on Windows the way they wanted it to, and then figure out what it was going to take to get it to run on Linux. And so I've got a development environment on Linux. I've got a development environment on Apple Silicon now. Okay. And so I can now work with my conventional tools, VS Code, and that kind of fun stuff.
Great.
So yeah, it's all going to be out there. Starting to put some polish on it, put some documentation behind it, and get it out there so people can start building with this thing.
Awesome. Well, thanks so much for bringing that by. All right. Now we're going to hear from Cooper.
Hey, Liz. How's it going?
Good. How are you?
So I have something you might be interested in here. This is a project I've been working on for a while now, and it's based on the RP 2040 or 2350. I've kind of been floating between both, and it's a guitar pedal, right?
Oh, very cool.
I'd love to give a more in-depth look, but that's kind of, I don't know, too many wires. But, suffice to say, there's a little microcontroller in there and a codec and some stuff like that, and stereo input and output, all that stuff. Anyway, so I've been coming up with a bunch of really cool effects and stuff. And actually, recently, I helped develop a pitch shift algorithm. So I don't know how well you can hear this, but I got a little crazy with it. Can you hear that?
That sounds so cool. Yeah.
So this is just an arpeggiator, and it's going through a chord here. And then you can do other stuff, octaves up. And if you get really crazy with it, it starts sounding like a video game or something.
Yeah. Almost like a...
How much can I do?
Oh, wow.
So it's pretty powerful.
Yeah.
And I have a bunch of other examples too. I don't know how much time you got.
We've got a couple people in the back, but if you want to come by maybe every week and show a new effect, I think that could be really cool.
That'd be fun. I'll keep cooking them out if you'll let me on.
Of course. Yeah.
Anyway, I have a lot of information to share on this, but I'm just getting the framework set up. So.
Excellent. Yeah, I mean, it looks great and sounds great. So thank you for coming by.
Cool. Thanks. You have a good one, Liz.
You too. All right, we've got quite a few people in the back, and we only have 15 minutes, so let's try to speed round it. But I'm looking forward to seeing everyone's projects. Let's hear from Tyeth. Hey, Tyeth, how are you?
Hey, everyone. So I work for Adafruit on I/O part-time, and I'm basically obsessed with sensors. So I've been looking for a long time to make this kind of combined CO2 and particle sensing stuff. And if I just quickly show the camera. Okay, so it's kind of madness, but long story short, this is the original. It's a simple sticker feather TFT in it with a particle sensor and a CO2 kind of sitting on top.
Right.
And then you end up with that, and that's just wrapped in a bit of veneer or whatever with some nice feet on it. Turns out, as you can imagine, it heats up far too much, which is why I then went with loads of slots and holes and all sorts of things. It still wasn't enough, even with all of the wood basically removed. And so I then made this kind of test rig to see if I took the air through the bottom, around a pathway, through the particle sensor and back out, dragged by this fan over the ESP so that the ESP and the screen weren't heating up the sensors, basically.
Oh, clever. Yeah.
And that sort of really helped. But lo and behold, Sensorion have finally dropped this new sensor, which is basically the same thing. Uses exactly the same cable, that way around, but combines the CO2 in one. So it's super convenient. And of course, Adafruit already have a lovely little breakout for the right cable. That way.
Oh, yeah, I love that thing.
Yeah, Sen 54 breakout, and effectively it's a horrible locking 6-pin JST cable.
Yes.
But you can also get it in a stemmer form, and we've got a 3-volt to 5-volt converter that does a similar sort of thing. And so I've basically then tried this combined monstrosity, which is effectively just an excuse to use these 21700 batteries that I stole out of a power bank. It's absolutely ridiculous. But the only thing that really fits is this tiny LiPo otherwise. And it perfectly fits behind reverse TFT. So that's kind of where I'm at. And what I originally was showing you was the CAD for that. And the only thing I really care about showing you on this is just Onshape's cool. It's free for public designs. And what I really like is their configuration options have like drop down availability. So when I pick one of these, effectively the whole design shifts. And what I've really enjoyed is on the main assembly, I've got 3 different battery types. And then I've started experimenting with these kind of clips where I could hold the side of the sensor while still being able to remove it, basically. So when I force the sensor in from one end, the clips move aside. They've got a kind of reinforcing bar to keep them strong. And it works really well. I was surprised. I'm still making all the software stuff, but it actually works. And I'll just rush along because I know people are in a hurry. This is effectively JQ, which is a way of filtering JSON as a web service, which means you can cut your 100 meg JSON down to just the fields you want.
Oh, great.
And if you imagine this is the full thing, if I then request just, I can't remember what I need to do. I think it's just .title or something, effectively should try and pull out the titles or something, or let's go with ID. Okay, invalid query. But if I just go to test instead, then there's a pre-populated one, so I don't have to think about it. And that effectively grabs all the New York Times articles and just strips out the titles, because that's all we're trying to use in something.
Oh, that's very cool. I've tried to use that API before, and it is terrible.
It's horrific. Certain things, you've just got no control over the JSON you get. So it's really nice to have a way to actually filter that. And it's just a service on the cloud. I'll eventually put a playground note out. And that's me. Thank you very much.
All right. Thank you so much, Tyeth. Love seeing everything you do. Thank you for your work you do for I/O too.
Bless. Thank you.
All right. Have a good one. Now let's hear from FlyuingThings. Hey, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Good.
My other paw on. Cool. Yeah, so I've been working on my guy here, double click the mouse, and I've added a little mouse to control my phone from my paw. So the paw has a Circuit Playground Bluefruit. It's using the accelerometer pitch, the roll and pitch to control like mouse displacements. So just that way I don't have to take off my paw to
I was gonna say that's
the phone.
That's awesome. And is that CircuitPython or Arduino or what programming language?
Yeah, I am using CircuitPython.
CircuitPython? Very cool. That's great. It looks very responsive.
Yeah, I had a brain blast one time, and it was like it made it. CircuitPython also made it really easy to integrate too.
Awesome.
The only other thing is that I added a keyboard input to hit the enter key, so I can do like selfies and whatever without taking out my paw.
That's great. Yeah. That must come really handy for events and stuff.
Yeah. That's all.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Love seeing everything evolve. Yeah.
Yeah.
Great. All right. Now let's hear from Dan.
I'll mute that real quick. Hi, how's it going?
Good.
It's been a hot minute. I was working on this thing and it disappeared, and it like works and stuff. Oh no! So it's easier to see on the remote because I use the same board twice. But I made an ESP32 based remote control system, and so it gives you Wi-Fi hookups, 8 servos, a switch mode power supply. It's like good for 4S. It's like, wow, these are some nice things to just have at your disposal. So it's finally kind of alive. I've got a SparkFun GPS, but your IMU under the hood there.
Very cool.
And have been kind of how would I say, getting the just getting some of the firmware working. So the controls sort of work. They're not the best. I need to fix that SPI bus. I2C takes a while to refresh the screen. And I have one quick share I want to do.
Okay.
I think I got it. There we go. So I had taken my other truck, and what I did is I kind of wrapped the guts up in something to keep it from breaking, and just lipo taped it on, you know. But the key here to look at is this truck goes 52.1 miles an hour on that pass. Let me tell you, this was a debugging exercise. I was like trying to get the GPS to work, hitting reset, and I realized I'm like, I can go out and run speed trials with what I got right now. And I just went outside and did it. So
that's great.
That's what I got. And I'm going to pass it back.
Awesome. Thank you so much. It's been cool to see you come back with more. Yeah.
Thanks.
All right. Have a good one. All right. And now we are going to have Mark play us out. Hey, Mark, how are you?
I'm doing great. Yourself?
Good, good.
So play us out is a good thing. You can't see my MIDI keyboard is to my side. So I've got a new effect that I'm working on that the PR is out right now, a chorus effect. So for people who don't know, a chorus just takes the last few milliseconds and chops it up to how many voices and plays it just to get a bit of a different tone. But when I first did it on a sine wave or something, it's pretty boring. And a lot of times just cancels itself out. But then I realized Toddbot had a whole bunch of sample code about wavetables.
Yes.
Now the wavetables, this is no chorus effect, can have this really cool effect to them on their own. But now I can play it and start adding more voices, and you can get a much different sound alternating how many voices you're playing, as well as the delay of what sort of time frame the course is going through. So there's a lot of these different wavetables that I've been trying with. I think this one was pretty cool. And then, yeah, you can start playing around to get whatever effect you're going for.
Very cool.
So I wasn't even really sure what this was used for a lot of times when I was developing it. I just saw it and I knew there was interest.
Yeah.
But yeah, with putting different sounds and not just a sine wave through it. Sine wave was really great for testing because it was very easy to tell if you were just canceling yourself out.
Right, yeah.
But now we can get a very different sound compared to the bass sound. So you can just, yeah, lots of possibilities of just whatever you want. And it's
Very
really
cool.
easy to change.
I personally love chorus effect. I'm a guitarist, and a lot of like 80s post-punk uses chorus effect. If you ever heard like the warbling, just if folks wanted another point of reference. And then personally, my first guitar pedal was actually a chorus pedal because Kurt Cobain used one, and at the time, being 13 years old, he was like my guitar idol. So it's been very cool to see all the work going into the audio effects stuff that you've been doing, and then Cooper also has the guitar pedal, so it's really cool to see that kind of brewing continually in CircuitPython.
Yeah, it's been a lot of fun to work on. I'm super glad that Cooper jumped in to help. Toddbot has given so much synth advice over the years, and Jeff built the basis of synth, which all this is sort of built on, as well as everything else. And one thing that's on my radar to write is more documentation on how to use all this. It's not really difficult, and there's some samples out there, but I really want to get that done. But yeah, if people join us in the Discord, we'll gladly show you how to use it. And if you want to build your own effects, I'll show you how to do that as well.
Excellent. Thank you so much, Mark.
Thanks a lot.
Thanks. Have a good one. All right, that was an action-packed show and tell. Thank you, everyone, for coming by. We have finished with 5 minutes to spare because in 5 minutes, it's one of the best streams of the week. It's Ask an Engineer with Lady Ada and Mr. Lady Ada. So quickly go grab some popcorn and be back to see that. And until next time, have a good night, everyone. Bye.